Hi, today I want to talk about directing the dramatic scene. Of course, what I mean by dramatic scene, it can also be a comedic scene because essentially comedy really follows the same structure as drama. It just takes a different turn in different places, a more absurd or comedic turn, if you will. Directing is really striking a balance between a number of different directing tasks that includes interpreting the script, managing the technical crew, and working with the actors. In terms of interpreting the script, this is usually done uh, in pre-production, way beforehand, and also managing the technical crew. You've already had discussions with your director of photography, your assistant director, who's ever doing audio. Director of photography is usually the person in charge of the lighting. So you've had a lot of these discussions beforehand. You've already visited the location. You've with your technical crew, and you've thought about where lights will be placed, if there's going to be any audio recording issues. You've certainly considered about if you're going to have any camera movement. So a lot of these decisions need to be done before you arrive on the set, because frankly, as a director, your main job is working with and shaping the performance of the actors and making sure that you get the kind of performances um, that you want to have on film. As a director, your first task is to kind of break down each scene, and you have a series of questions that you can ask about that scene, such as what is driving each character in the scene. If there's more than one character in a scene, whose scene is it? And it may change at some particular point. It may pivot away from being one character scene to another. What is the conflict at heart in the scene? What is the protagonist trying to achieve? And he or she may not be able to achieve that. And then that's usually when the scene is over. Um, where does a dramatic crisis or beats occur? A dramatic beat is essentially a change of consciousness um, of one of the characters, something that impacts the character. Um, it could be a piece of news that they hear. It could be something one of the other character does or says. It could be if it's comical, it could be a particular comical beat. Uh, so you need to know where the beats occur. And also, what is the function of the scene overall in the structure of your film? And that's really important, even within a short film as well as a feature film. The rehearsal process. Following the scene by scene breakdown, the director can now begin the rehearsal process. And as I mentioned before, it's always a good idea to have a table read with your actors, and then take some time to rehearse your actors. If possible, go to the actual location where you're going to be doing the film. And there you can kind of decide what works and doesn't work. You can kind of um, you can hear the dialogue, you can make some changes, think about blocking how the actor's movement is going to occur. And, tell your actors what you see, what you don't see, kind of try to stay in the moment as you're working with the actors. You're also, like I said, you're staging and working out the actor movement within the scene. I believe that actor movement is one way of sort of externalizing a character's psychological state, because films are not like novels where we can know exactly what the characters are thinking and feeling. So everything has to be externalized. Normally, actors need to be placed closer together than they are in real life. It has a lot to do with the aspect ratio of film, and it just looks better to fill your frame with the actors. There are some kind of logical things when you're thinking about uh, actor when you're doing blocking with actors. I mean, if you got a couple that's having a fight, um, uh, it seems natural that as the fight ensues, the couple's going to try to probably move further apart. I mean, there's certain logic to that. Also, if somebody feels threatened, they're likely to maybe move back. You can kind of think through a lot of these situations, and that'll kind of help you in terms of blocking. And also listen to what your actors have to say. They might have some really good ideas. Okay, on set, directing actors. Um, it's real important to have trust and communication between the directors and the actors. Actors usually they feel very vulnerable on a set, and you need to make them comfortable. You need to let them know this is a safe place for them to experiment, and but you as a director need to keep focused on that performance, making sure that you're getting the kind of performance that you want. If your actors are going a little too theatrical, or you might need to ask them to pull back a little bit. You know, Actors that have had experience working on film will certainly um, know about how nuanced film acting is. Um, do your homework before you direct. That means knowing the intents of your characters and what the particular objectives are of the scene, and certainly explain that to the actors. They'll want to know why they need to move from one part of the scene to another, so you'll need to kind of think out that. The language of acting. Use verbs rather than states of being. Actors can do. Being becomes a little more difficult for them. Like, for instance, if you're asking your actors to be more real or bigger, that might be difficult for them to do. But if you give them real specific directions, like walk over to her in an aggressive manner, or your character just wants to get out of there, then that really will help your actors. And also help them understand the context of the scene, and if there is any particular subtext of the scene, things that are going on but may not necessarily be apparent even within the dialogue. Let's see. Okay, back to the technical process. Determine the best place to put the camera in the scene. Um, you don't necessarily, in terms of the master shot method, which means to shoot the entire scene from one particular camera angle, you don't necessarily need to do that, but you do need to have good coverage. And I would recommend that you break up your scene into dramatic blocks. Make sure that you kind of cover the action with a wide shot or medium wide shot. Since you have a line script and a shot list, this should make things a lot easier for you on the set. That's the whole idea of going through these pre-production stages, is so when you get out to shoot, you can work very efficiently and very quickly. So you've made a lot of the decisions beforehand. Determine your camera movement in relation to the actors. Let me talk about the 5 steps that have been proven. This is an old Hollywood way of doing it, and it's also a way in which it's done in an international level in terms of filmmaking. The steps are, when you're beginning to shoot a scene, is to first block the scene, block the actor's movement within the scene. Next is to light the scene, and then rehearse the scene. Have your actors do the scene, and then you'll likely need to do some tweaking of the lighting. Maybe if there's any camera movement, you may have to make some adjustments there, and then you're ready to shoot. So this 5-step: the block, light, rehearse, tweak, and shoot. These are, the 5 steps to really efficient filmmaking. And you should be able to do this with your small team, and you should be able to move your production along very quickly. And like I said, um, the big mainstream feature film productions or television productions, they follow these exact same steps. Um, During the shoot, the director, you need to keep your eye on the actors and help shape their performance. You might want to have the actors, even if you're going to break the scene up into several shots, you might want to have them go ahead and do a take for the entirety of the scene, so you can kind of get a feel for the dramatic arc of the scene. Um, don't ask for another take from an actor unless you're kind of giving them a new piece of information. And when the cameras roll, please stay within the moment as a director. Focus on what you're getting. Your director of photography will certainly be focusing on making sure uh, that the shot looks good, making sure the lighting is good. Your audio person, which probably is also your assistant director, will be making sure that the audio is recorded, that it's strong and clean. So, but your role as a director is to really focus in on the performances of the actors. Okay, any questions? Please let me know. Thank you.